Hello everyone and welcome back to Celluloid. And whoa, I changed the DPI and I'm gonna mute my computer because Discord is on and there might be some beep 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 and then that can be annoying. Anyways, today a bit of a different video because I'm not reviewing one movie, I'm reviewing three. I'm reviewing an entire set of Vinegar Syndrome's Spanish Bloodbath set to be exact. And if I was smart, I would have done this video before the halfway through to Black Friday sale. So if my review pushed you into buying this, I don't know why it would. I don't know why people would listen to me. You could have at least gotten it on sale, but now you have to wait a month till they get through a partner month and then pay full price for it. But it's honestly pretty decent. I mean, for the price, you're getting 3 movies, and I feel like this set is perfect because none of these movies really stand out on their own, and I feel like having the 3 of them in one set kind of softened the blows. Not that these are a bad movie. In fact, I like all of 3 movies, pretty much all the same rating. The lowest rating is like a 6.5, and the rest of the other ones are like 7.33 or 7.64. That means nothing. But yeah, and this is a nice little set of 3 70s horror films from Spain, and unlike what the title promises, these aren't gore fests. I mean, gory Spanish films weren't very much a thing until the 80s, just because I'm pretty sure they were still dealing with a lot of censorship. I'm not too sure. I am working on my Just Franco video, which one of these is directed by Franco, which is the reason I bought this set, and then I got surprised because the second one, Violent Bloodbath, is actually directed by Jorge Grau, I think that's how you pronounce it, who directed Living Dead at Manchester Morgue, which is probably one of the best zombie movies of all time. Like, it's right up there, in my opinion, with Romero's classics and Fulci Zombies, so that was also pretty cool. And the last one, I think, is directed by another Spanish director I'm kind of familiar with. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so I'm working on the Just Franco video, and at the time in the 70s, I'm pretty sure there was still a lot of censorship, especially these are all pretty much early to mid 70s. I'll take it out the slipcover, which is of course beautiful, but if you want to buy it cheaper, don't buy the slipcover, so the art is also just the same. So we got Night of the Skull, which is the Franco joint, Violent Bloodbath, and The Fish with the Eyes of Gold, directed by somebody. Anyways, alright, I'm just gonna get through, and also, I'm wasting a lot of time, but these all come on their individual discs, which is pretty cool. From pretty nice little edition from Vinegar Syndrome. So just quick reviews. Night of the Skull is a Jess Franco fare from 1974, and it is not what you expect from Jess Franco in the mid 70s. He was pretty much on his glorious sexploitation kind of streak, and this kind of is a movie that sticks out in that era of Franco, as it's very much a Spanish giallo, which a lot of the trends in Italian cinema were also reflected in Spanish cinema, which is why you have so many Spanish giallos in the sets of Forgotten Gialli from Vinegar Syndrome, and pretty much all 3 of these movies are Spanish giallis. Night of the Skull is your very typical kind of blend between Gothic and Giallo. It is the Agatha Christie typical story of there's a will after somebody is assassinated, and our characters have to deal with the consequences of the assassination, and then they have a little infighting, which leads to more murders inside the family. This film is notable for Jess Franco because it barely has nudity. I think there's a singular breast in this. Pretty sure it's Lina Romay that shows her singular breast, which would make sense. She was pretty much naked in all of Franco's film, but it's not as sexploitation and it's not as sexploitation heavy as you'd expect, especially from this era. It is a fairly tame, gothic, very atmospheric, very moody, a lot of fog, a lot of beautiful shots. The characters are interesting. Of course, you have your dickheads, because you always need to have some dickheads to make you think that they might be the murderers, and then you get the twist, which I was kind of surprised. It's not going to be a very complex review, because this is the first one I watched, and it was a couple months ago. I was just so happy that I finished all the movies in like a set, that I needed to make a video just to show off, I guess, because I have commitment issues. Usually I buy a set, I watch 2 of the 3 movies on there, and watch the third one like 2 years later. So I'm just proud of myself that I watched these in a reasonable amount of time. But yeah, Night of the Skull is really, really good in my opinion. The killer is very interesting. It is, like I said, giallo-esque, so there is the black gloves and kind of the mask design. It's pretty cool. Not my favorite from Franco, because this is kind of generic giallo-esque gothic horror, but still very enjoyable, and I would recommend it. This one is probably the second highest one on this set, at a 7.25, I'll say. Okay. Violent Bloodbath, directed by Jorge Grau. This one is very dialogue heavy. I just realized I'm holding the microphone in the wrong direction, so this video is going to sound like shit. What's new? And it is very dialogue heavy. It is very, very character based. It is called Violent Bloodbath, but the gore is kept to a minimum. But this one's my favorite of the set. It's the story. It's there's this judge, this French judge, who's on vacation in Spain, and then there's a murder. But the murder that happened while he was kind of getting to his hotel, while he was, I think, like he just got into Spain, and then there was a murder. The problem is that murder was very similar to a murder in which the judge sent the criminal to his death. Basically, he gave out the death sentence, and then a couple years later, he goes to Spain, and then there's this murder that exactly a copycat of the murder from a couple years ago, which of course causes him to be very confused, and in between that we get intrigues with relationships, sexuality. All of these films have kind of like these very sexually charged undertones, but they're not explicitly sexual. Again, I'm pretty sure there was a lot of censorship when it came to sex in movies in Spain. So yeah, surprisingly, even though it's not a bloodbath, there is a big body count, because I think the murder that happens is like 5 people, an entire family gets killed, and then you follow this judge trying to make sense of it, and then the police, of course, snoops around and they try on their own to come up to the investigation. And yeah, the twist is actually pretty good. I remember really enjoying this one. Again, this is like a 7.48, let's say that, so highest rated on there. And then the one I watched tonight, The Fish with the Eyes of Gold. It's the lesser of the 3 films. Who directed it again? Not too sure. Remaining the Pedro twists. So Pedro Luis Ramirez, who directed School of Death. No idea. This is not a director I'm familiar with. And this one's from 74 again. So they're all from 74. Okay, that makes sense. So this one is this Englishman, just, hitchhikes, and then a girl who just had a fight with her boyfriend picks him up. And during the night, after some sexual intercourse, he wakes up and she's dead, and her necklace is gone. That necklace was a necklace of a fish with gold eyes, and then of course he is blamed for that, and he just runs away because that's not suspicious, and he goes to see a friend, and the friend had witnessed a murder in the first sequence. So the film opens with a murder, again very giallo-esque, very slasher-esque, and then the police just snoops around as our foreigner tries to investigate himself what these murders are about, and then we meet a aquarium man who has an aquarium, and he really loves fish, and there's a lot of fish in this. There's so much fish. The body count is not too bad. There's a couple murders in this. Again, no real gore, just typical, just people getting stabbed and then a bit of blood. Yeah, I like this one. It's really one that doesn't keep your full attention, though. I found myself getting kind of bored through some of the moments, some parts of this film. It's just, I think it could have been done a bit better. The intrigue wasn't there, since I kind of guessed who the killer was at the beginning, and I don't even try to guess the killer. I'm somebody, if I watch a giallo, even if I've seen it before, I will most likely forget who the killer is and then be surprised every time, which is good when you watch as many giallos as me. But this one I just kind of saw coming, and the characters are nothing special. The main character is just not really intriguing, doesn't really have a lot of qualities to him. Overall, it's still an enjoyable film. I think I give it like a 6.52, but it's just not my favorite from the set. But yeah, in conclusion, this set is pretty good. If you want to pick it up, I recommend it. Maybe Black Friday sales. If you're into Spanish horror, it's kind of really cool. I tried to pick up all of the Spanish sets that they release. I think I ordered one in the last sale, one that I didn't know they released last year, I think. But yeah, anytime they release some Spanish horror, I will buy it, because I love myself some Spanish horror, especially these giallo inspired Spanish thrillers. And yeah, overall, all the movies are pretty good. They're pretty good. They're from pretty decent to pretty good. There's just nothing great, but there's also nothing bad. So I think it's like the perfect balance of films, and they fit together very well. You could triple feature them, but you probably get them mixed up, because a lot of them do feel very similar, kind of the same settings, the same characters, the same intrigues. The one that really sticks out as different is the Jess Franco one, just because it has that gothic atmosphere, but Violent Bloodbath and The Fish with the Eyes of Gold feel very similar. Anyways, that was all. Enough rambling. See you guys next time. I was gonna say on the other side, but I'm not planning on dying tonight.